Yo, it's your boy Wes the Tech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist grow on your craft. Now, today we're going to go over digital streaming versus distributing direct to fans, all right? So if you're a recording artist who wants to know the difference between digital streaming versus distributing directly to fans, then this is the perfect video for you, because in this video, I'm gonna go over all the pros and cons to both, all right? Now, before I continue, I definitely wanna let you guys know about my free music business checklist that's available to download off of my website right now. With this free tool, you'll actually be able to identify 3 things that you could do right away to start your own music business for those of you guys who are looking into starting your own music business. So all you got to do is click on the link above. I'll also leave the link in the descriptions below, all right? Now, when it comes to distributions, there's 2 different ways that you could do it nowadays as an independent artist, all right? The first one is the more popular, the more common one, and that's the digital streaming, right? You basically distribute your music to streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and so on and so forth. But there is another way to actually get your music out there as an independent artist, and that's actually through the direct to fan method, all right? Basically distributing your music directly to fans so that they're actually able to download your music and listen to your music. Now, there are pros and cons to both different viewpoints, and I know that there are artists that actually focus on one versus artists that focuses on the other. But which one is actually the best as an independent artist? Well, the way I look at it very, very clearly as far as there are pros and cons to both sides to it. All right, so it really works out whatever works best for you. Now, in this video, I'm gonna go over those differences so you can make a sound decision on which route that you wanna go, all right? So starting with digital streaming, I guess the biggest con to digital streaming is that you don't really make much per stream, right? I mean, it takes literally 300 streams to make $1, right? I mean, you can get 1,000 streams, and after 1,000 streams, you're only gonna make $4, roughly speaking, on Spotify. And it's the same thing for Apple Music. So you have to get a lot of streams in order to make money, right? Now, that is the downside to it. But the pro to digital streaming is that you will actually get those digital streaming revenues forever, meaning that as long as people continue to listen to your music on Spotify, Apple Music, all of those different places, you will continue to get paid. So that means that every single time that somebody listens to your song, there is something coming to you. Even no matter how small it may be, it's always going to come, which means that, you know, the goal is to get as much streams as possible, because the more streams you get, the more you get paid. But as long as people keep listening to your music, you will continue to collect something for it. So that is the positive of it, because with digital streaming, it's longevity, it's for perpetuity. You're gonna get those royalties forever as long as people keep listening. I mean, think of Michael Jackson. Still to this day, people are listening to his music. Every single time somebody listens to one of his songs, his estate is getting paid for it. And that is the great thing about digital streaming, all right? Now, when you look at direct to fans is literally the opposite of digital streaming, right? Up front, the pro up front is that you get way more money in the beginning, right? You get a lump sum in the beginning with direct to fans, but you don't get that longevity that you get with digital streaming. And what I mean by that, when it comes to direct to fans is basically like the old school method of music distribution, right? Like when we used to have CDs, when we used to have, you know, vinyls, and I know we still have some of that stuff, but we're not really in the day and age that people are really still buying CDs. I mean, Best Buy and a lot of other stores like that doesn't even carry music CDs anymore. So you actually have to go to a vintage store now to find music CDs, right? But back in the day when it came to CDs, if you're an artist and you dropped an album, and let's say that album was $15, you sold that album, you immediately made that $15, right? Which is a great thing, because obviously to get $15 with streaming, you got to get a couple of thousand streams. So obviously, if you were just to sell your music straight up, you would get more money right away. because you're getting that lump sum. But the downside to that is that you don't have that longevity, right? When someone has that CD or purchases that CD, they could be listening to that CD for the rest of their life. As long as they keep the CD protected and it doesn't get scratched up and everything like that, they can continue to listen to that same CD for years and years and years. And you will not get paid for every single time they listen to it because they already bought that CD. That CD was one price. They paid the price, that $15, you got it, and you will no longer get any more revenue or royalties from them, no matter how many times that they listen to that CD, right? For example, I still have Michael Jackson's History CD, right? I got that History, Past, Present, and Future. I got it when it first came out. It came out in what, 94, 95, something like that. I had it since then. I've been listening to that thing for years, and I still have the CD and I still listen to it, which means that all of the 30 years of listening that I have of that CD, Michael Jackson hasn't been able to collect anything on that because all he got from me was that initial $10 that I spent to buy the actual CD, right? So the pro to direct to fans is that you get that lump sum right away, but the downside to it is that there's no royalty longevity. You're not going to continue to get paid for the rest of your life to the person that you sold that to. So it's really up to you which option that caters most to you. Would you prefer the one that you get more upfront in the beginning, or would you prefer to get the one that you get a smaller amount, a much smaller amount, but you get it for the rest of your life, right? It's almost like that question: do you want $1 million now, or do you want $10 million within the span of the rest of your life? Like, would you rather get checks for the rest of your life that adds up to 10 million, or would you rather just get the $1 million right now? That's essentially what you're asking for. Now, if you prefer to get the lump sum right away, direct to fans is your way to go. Now, if you rather have that longevity, like let's say you only do music for 10 years, you stop doing music and you continue to make revenue off that, then digital streaming is the way to go for you. Now, if you ask for my recommendation, or me personally as an artist, if you really like both and you just want to figure out the best way to do it, my advice would be to just do both, right? Just do both, but strategize on how you want to do that. For example, let's say you have an album that's on its way, right? What you could do is you could do a pre-release of that album as direct to fans, right? And let's say you just limit that to, I don't know, maybe 50 fans can get you will be the first people to get your album. And let's say you sell the album for $10, right? 50 times 10 is 500, right? So you could get that lump sum right away, and then you could just have that as the pre-release bundle to your core fans, so to speak, right? And then from that point, you could do the official release, let's say a month or two later, where you actually put it on a streaming service and the rest of the world can partake in listening to the rest of the album. So you kind of get both, and you're not boxed into one or the other. You can make that lump sum right away, and you still have that streaming to go, but you cannot do it in the same time. You can't have a direct to fans release date as the same as the streaming, because nobody's gonna buy the direct to fan if they could go stream it right away for free, because they're already paying for Spotify or Apple Music or so on and so forth. They can even go listen to it on YouTube, right? So you would have to map it out in such a way that you have an allocated time for direct to fans, and then from that point, you have the streaming to carry on the rest of the way. So that would be my recommendation as far as the best way to approach it if you want to dabble with both. But it's all up to you which side that you want to choose. I just really wanted to make this video just to give you guys the pros and cons to both sides, and really just let you decide on what's the better fit for you. All right, guys? But that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Of course, before I let you go, I definitely want to let you guys about my free ebook here. Well, not my free ebook, but my ebook here, the 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. I actually have physical copies of this as well. And it's basically the 13 steps that I took to put myself in a position to leave my 9-to-5 job so that I could do music full time. All right. So if you're an artist who's still working that day job and you're still trying to find out a way to do music full time, you make sure to grab that book. I'll leave links in the description below. It's the same 13 steps that I took. If you follow those 13 steps and those guidelines, you will put yourself in a position to leave that 9-to-5 job so that you could do music full time just like me. So definitely grab that. All right. But Like I said, of course, make sure you guys are subscribing. Leave comments in the comment section below. A lot of times I take those comments and actually use them for my Tuesday live Q&As. So keep asking questions. I'll get to them eventually. All right, just put them all in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions in regards to this video or anything else, don't be shy. Leave it all in the comments. All right, guys? But with all that being said, I hope this video helped you understand better the difference between digital streaming and direct to fans distribution. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
I feel like Moses. Big Moses. Yeah. Can't nobody hold me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel. Big Daddy. Yeah. Can't nobody face me. Yeah. I feel like Joseph. Big Joseph. Yeah. Can't nobody break